Some people believe that they saw JK doing something with another male idol. We have an apology posted that was on Weverse that ended up being deleted, and then we have people believing that JK will no longer be doing live streams. So hey Dumplings, this is Dave Disci, let's get into it. After all the members came back from the military, a lot of people have been anticipating a lot more activity. And there definitely has been a lot more activity, but perhaps not in the same way that a lot of people were hoping for. RM has gone ahead and done art-related things, so it has nothing to do with music. So if we were hoping to see more of him in that aspect, that obviously isn't happening. And then as usual, every time there is an in-between for comebacks, we really don't hear much from Jimin at all, and a lot of the other members are pretty much silent at this time. People are particularly upset at JK because he is typically one that when there's a break or there's nothing really happening, he goes on live streams. In fact, he is very well known for his live streams and how it's captured international attention, just him being on stream. He goes on live and does karaoke, he eats food, he cleans his house, and he just shows his life. So it's definitely work-ish. It's not exactly the hardest type of work for him. And so people are wondering why he doesn't just go on live. Other people have speculated things like in between comebacks, JK often is pretty silent online as he is working and recording things in the studio. I definitely agree with this. I think when the members are quiet, especially JK, that we can expect to get music videos or to get something coming out in a little bit. Many are wondering what it could be, and that could definitely be music, or it could be a modeling gig with Calvin Klein. There are just so many things that he could do, and others have wondered if JK is disappointed or mad in the community, and that is the reason why he hasn't been on live. This is a very interesting thought because it shows even some people who are not that obsessed with the boys, right? Like to the point where they're sending death threats or they're trying to stalk them at their house, but it shows that even those people who are not crazy still have very strong parasocial relationships with the BTS boys, which can be a fault. It's a very good thing to have idols. It's a very good thing to like someone and wish them the best and keep up with them and to check in and ask questions and all those things. But what's not so great is thinking that any member of BTS is specifically mad at their community, and that's why we're not getting any content right now. Even if the community decided to do something horrid, he would not be punishing the community because that's how he makes his money. That's how he gets to pursue his dreams. So being mad as community is only going to backfire on him. We also know very well that the community, if JK were to say, "I'm mad at you," would profusely apologize and the issue would be over. Many people think it's due to the fact that a stalker did show up at his home, and I would say that he likely is mad, but maybe not mad at us, but is just pursuing legal action behind the scenes and working on things behind the scenes. And that could be taking up the bulk of his time right now because he likes to go live for several hours. And he is the type of person where if he can't do something right or the way that he wants to do it, he would rather not do it at all. And that's the feeling that I get from him, which by the way is a very ADHD thing to do. And also him not being good with texting and all that stuff is also an ADHD type of thing. I wonder if he has that. But fortunately, since the boys have come out of the military, there is definitely a lot of stuff to talk about. It's really hard for me to keep up. I've been trying so hard to find the most relevant and up-to-date topics, but sometimes what I end up finding is like a few days old, and I'm like, how did I miss this? Like I was looking and I was researching to see what was going on today. I completely missed this whole story, apparently. There was a moment that happened right after the concert that J-Hope did where all the boys showed up. Apparently right after that appearance and that show, Jimin ended up posting something on Weverse, and a lot of people thought that he might have been drunk or was drinking a little bit and poured his heart out on the platform. He said a lot, and there were two posts, I believe, and one really long post. I'm not entirely sure because he did delete this post, but I want to get into what people believe he said. Keep in mind, this is all in Korean and I'm having AI translate it, so it might not be exactly the right meaning or the exact phrasing, but I'm sure the general idea is going to be there. He said, "When I don't see you for a while, I end up really wanting to see you, but when I say it too much, it feels like those words lose their weight, so I hold back." It's kind of funny, right? How saying I miss you gets harder and harder, but I miss you. Hearing the word army now makes me reach for a drink. I'm not sure if the spelling is correct and I uploaded it, but when I wake up and find out there's a problem, I'll delete it. I really miss you today, and kept talking about it with Namjoon Hyung. And we just parted ways. Anyway, I love you so much. I was the happiest when I saw Hobi Hyung's concert. If I can give you as much happiness as I felt today, I'd be so touched. That love, that's RM, Namjoon, really loves Army the most. I love you too. So there's a couple things to note here, which is just how beautiful the notion of him not wanting to say I miss you too much, because he doesn't want to take away the impact and weight of that, which I've never really thought about, but obviously that is true. I mean, if you hear it all the time, you're going to be sensitized to it. But at the same time, the community wants to hear it all the time. So I don't know what to do there and how often he should actually be saying I miss you. But I absolutely loved this, and I love that he wanted to mention that he really enjoyed J-Hope's concert. He, of course, got to see his community, as a lot of people there were part of the BTS community, and he probably felt the love from just even being off stage, and he was really grateful that the community was still there, and he probably saw J-Hope perform and was excited to soon be back on stage to do that again. But this wasn't it, as Jimin also wrote something very briefly, allegedly, which is him saying, I am sorry, and then he allegedly deleted that. I'm assuming that probably means he was sorry that he even wrote that message, but I don't know what he's apologizing for, as it's obviously a really sweet message to read, but perhaps he felt it was too candid or maybe too open, I don't know. Now, all of this is alleged, as these posts do not exist anymore, so we can say that they exist, or it could just be one person in the community writing about it and it went super viral. So I don't really know if it's true or not either. But take these things with a grain of salt. I mean, regardless of whether it's true or not, it doesn't make Jimin look bad. So if we assume it's good, it's a good thing, I think. But again, I don't know. But there are things that'll make Jimin and potentially also JK look different in people's eyes. People were very shocked after several posts online were talking about how both Jimin and JK were spotted alone somewhere. JK was believed to be in the US, like he had flown out. So a lot of people are asking if Jimin is in the US as well. And quite frankly, I don't think he actually is, because I remember them splitting up at the airport, or I believe they did. I'm not entirely sure, but that doesn't mean that he can't later fly into the US. So that could also not be true. I don't know. There was a report about someone seeing both of them that went super viral online. And this was interesting. The report read as if this person did not know who Jimin was and didn't know who JK was. It played into this idea that this person was a person who was not a fan of BTS, but just had spotted them casually and was just like, wait, is that them? And then didn't know their names. I'm going to be very candid and honest here, at least in my opinion. If people don't know the individual names of the members, I don't think they know the individual faces of the members. We're talking about America here, where the majority of people in America who aren't really that big in Korean music or Asian music in general think all Asian people look the same. I don't think that if this person wasn't a fan, they would recognize the BTS boys walking down the street, any of them. That's my opinion. It's obviously a wild one, but that's just my thought. You can choose to not agree with that, obviously. Someone dug into this person who had written the viral post and found out this person had been supporting BTS way back since 2013. However, most people who didn't look into the person who posted it circulated that post heavily and spread this rumor that Jimin and JK were seeing each other, or that someone had spotted them together. Now, a lot of people who did look into this believe that the person who posted this rumor was someone who had an agenda to begin with. And that's what's really interesting. Because for someone to pretend like they don't know who the BTS members are, but if you go back on their page, you can clearly see that they do. There is something mentally not fully okay with the person like this. They're going to such extreme lengths to pretend to be something that they're not, to, I guess, get a viral post to push their agenda. I'm not sure what's going on here and why people think like this, but it seems like the point of the post was to get people to believe that Jimin and JK are in a relationship together and were secretly found by someone who didn't even know who the BTS boys were, that were saying like, oh my god, look how cute they are together. This then circulated, with some people then adding on to the fact that it seemed like JK's hand was around Jimin's waist, like things like that. Now it's become this thing where people believe that they're both together right now, and they could be, but we haven't seen any pictures or really fully know. And that's the thing that they can also get away with, is that the people posting this, they just have to write text. They don't actually have to provide any pictures or any location or address or anything like that, because the community would even get upset if they did provide those things, because the community would feel like this would jeopardize the boys' safety. So you see how posts like this can go viral without any actual facts or anything behind it. This then leads people to think that the two were doing something in public or privately, or thinking that they were doing something at all, which I don't think is true. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.